Hello students, hope everything is going great. I just wanted to make this video because I wanted to make sure that you have a clear understanding of how to write an academic research paper. There are a few things. I'm going through your paper, but still I find that there are a few things that I need to address. Some of you have really done a great job, but still a few others have to work on your paper a little bit more in terms of making it more authentic, um, more academic, uh, and which looks like very credible, authentic research paper, an academic research paper. So with that said, here are a few things that I want to go over, and also I'll give an example of a sample paper where you'll see some of the things that the students could have addressed to make that paper even better. So in this class, basically, you will start with your context essay, which you have already done, and then you'll have your comparison paper, comparison section, and then the cause and effect section, and then you have your final paper where you integrate all the sections, and then you come up with your final academic research paper somewhere from 10 to 12 pages long. Okay, so what I'm saying here is that make sure that you know what argument is. Okay, whether or not you have a clear argument is one of the important things that you want to think about. Okay, when you have your context essay, even if you don't have an argument ready, that's okay. All right, but know the topic, know the background information on that topic. What is the context of the topic? You want to let your readers know the background information and the context, the existing problems on the particular topic, right? If somebody is someone is writing a research paper on Black Lives Matter, then you might want to talk about why that is a problematic issue now, why you are bringing that up issue up, what is the existing scenario of that Black Lives Matter, why that matters. You might want to bring in a little bit of background information, how many black people were shot to death, and this brutality, the police brutality sometimes come into play. So those things you might want to bring in to let your readers know the existing problem, the context, the background information. That would be the focus in your first section, which is context essay, and some of you have already done that. Okay, so even if you don't know what you're trying to say, in the long run you will come up with an argument, but your first argument should not be, even if you don't have a very solid and clearly stated argument in the very beginning, that's okay. Okay, but when you have your final paper ready, make sure that you have a clear argument, and which always goes at the end of your first introduction paragraph. So so no worries on that, but make sure that you know what argument is. Okay, and then again, most of you tend to write a question mark, want to give a question mark to your argument, so please avoid the question mark. Rather, what would be the answer of that particular question? You might want to rephrase that in an argument, okay, in a statement or an argument. Okay, so again, so you begin with a context essay that focuses on the background information, and the next paper basically is a comparison. The focus is between two viewpoints, ideas, or stakeholders that bring in two different perspectives into play. You compare and contrast, so the differences and similarities, the things that are different or the things that are in common, and the consequence, the third paper that you'll produce, and then which emphasizes cause and effect. And then by the end of the semester, you will integrate all those papers and restructure them, rearrange them, and come up with a good academic research paper. Okay, always the idea why I'm asking you to come up with each paper is basically to prepare you for a good academic research paper. That's how basically it's written. Okay, even if you are writing a good academic research paper, you always want to let your readers know the context, the background, the existing problem on the particular topic that you want to explore or want to write a research paper on. Okay, and then you want to weigh the good and bad, pros and cons, benefits, or other sorts of things, and then what are the the cause and effect, because you will be bringing two different arguments, one your argument, another counter argument. So your aim would be always how to debunk the counter argument. because there is always a counter argument of your argument. So you try to counter the counter argument, you try to debunk the counter argument to make your argument much more persuasive and much more clear. Okay, again, one of the major important things that you really need to think of is you need to provide enough quotes depending upon the size of your the paragraph. Some of you have a very short brief paragraph. Make sure that at least two, at least minimum two the in-text citation there, because the idea behind bringing the quotations and the citations, in-text citation, is to substantiate your ideas, to authenticate your ideas. Okay, that way your readers will tend to trust you. Your paper will be more convinced and persuaded. Just writing something from top of your head is not gonna convince your reader. Okay, so again, when I'm saying enough quotes, means you don't have to keep bringing in like quotes within the inverted commas, right? The direct quote. Sometimes you might want to paraphrase the direct quote in your own words, but you might want to provide in-text citations or kind of or support, like where from you brought that ideas to back up your ideas, to back up your point. Okay, block quote, this is I don't know how many of you know what block quotes are. Basically, when you have more than 4 lines of the quote, that direct quote, you tend to indent all those lines as a separate paragraph within itself. Okay, so for example, if you have, as I already said, like if you have more than 4 lines that you are quoting, directly quoting from someone's idea, then you do not want to bring in within the paragraph and you indent all those lines and put them as a separate paragraph. That's how you do. That's what we call block quotes. So I do not want you to bring in a lot of block quotes in your just 10 to 12 page long research paper. If it was really writing if you were writing a dissertation or a long thesis, then definitely block quotes matter. But just for your short research paper, try not to use a lot of block quotes. Even if you use them, let that not be more than 4 or 5 lines. Try to integrate those quotes within your own words, paraphrase that in your own words, and then synthesize it, bring into your paragraph. Okay, and you might want to paraphrase that. Okay, and then you synthesize those ideas within the paragraph, and that's how you make your ideas much stronger, and that's how you substantiate your point as well. Okay, and again, avoid long paragraphs. Okay, because some of you tend to write a paragraph that is way too long. Okay, that way you don't interest your reader, and then you just kind of lose the focus as well. All right, and again, try not to use I, we, and you a lot in your academic research paper. Again, that's not a kind of a rule of thumb, but in the very beginning, as you are practicing or working on writing an academic research paper, try to make it more objective rather than to bring your subjective elements into it. So try not to use I, we, and you, but sometimes when you are really expert enough to write a good research paper, then sometimes bring in your own personal experience into it also might substantiate or make your the ideas way much stronger. Okay, then sometimes you bring in as well, but for the time being, let's not use that I, we, and you. Try to make your piece more objective, and let's see how it goes. Okay, I don't want to take too long, but here's a brief, example that I want to see how one of the students has written the paper, and I have commented here. Okay, here's a research paper that the student wrote, and the title "Children with Autism in Elementary School." Okay, so this topic is okay, but still, I want to make this topic even more informative. Okay, that's just a sample paper that someone wrote, and I commented on it, so that will be useful for you to take a look at it for your own paper to go through when you revise. Okay, and then children with autism in elementary school. So what? So what the author is trying to say, or what the author wants the readers to know, perhaps that information on the topic as in your topic would make this paper even much more informed and persuasive. Even if the title is not bad, but still that's kind of informative topic. That's what I would want. Okay, and here I have underlined with red, basically highlighted with red. Is because of exposure to environmental toxin, infectious agents, vaccine, parental medication, food, all similar sources never experienced by previous blah blah blah, not to come. So this here's the sentence, but this is not a complete sentence. So when you revise your draft, make sure that it's in, because subject, verb, object, what makes your sentence complete. So make sure that each and every sentences are complete. Okay. So I want to point, make sure that those things are there. Okay. And again, so here, what are the social problems faced by high functioning autistic children in elementary school, and if it is right or wrong for people to have prejudice against them? That's a very good question. Maybe this could be a good question for you. This is a very good research question. So what your research says, okay, after you try to address this question, I think the answer that will come up, with after you do a lot of research based on this question, that can be rephrased as your argument rather than just to pose this as a question. But again, if you are writing this as a context essay, posing this question is not bad. It's a very good question, and I really don't expect to have to have an argument right away, and then as long as you know what argument is. Okay. And again, you have quoted here, that's in-text citation I'm talking about. Good. You need to quote, you need to support your ideas, but make sure that it's in proper MLA format. So the students has quoted here some of the ideas here, but I don't think that is in proper MLA style. So double check that. I also have provided you OWL Purdue link for a proper MLA style. So double check that as well. All right. And again, so I suggested that you go to the writing center sometimes, that is very helpful. There are so many other online writing centers available. Maybe I think Purdue OWL, itself is an online institute to provide, to help people with their writing and writing issues as well. And if you have your own university, even your university, your college does provide the writing, the services in the writing centers, like helping you with your writing and things like that. And again, the student has provided here, MLA citation, but again, needs proper MLA citations. So you don't need to memorize everything, but if you at least need to know how to look up that MLA style and how to, apply that in your writing. Okay. And again, one other thing is that when you write, make sure that you make your writing more organized and well structured. Remember, the other day I assigned you to work with cohesion practice. But if you have not done that cohesion practice yet, then it's coming up soon. And those who have already done it, then that's fine. So make sure that you provide enough transitional word to make a kind of coherence within the paragraph or from one paragraph to another. Okay, that's something I would want you to focus on. All right. So and then and again, still this essay, even if the writer has provided some of the in-text citations, still lack enough in-text citations. Look at that. This paragraph doesn't even have a single in-text citation. There's a quote. Okay, there's a quote, but there is no in-text citation. See, and again, don't let this quote stand on its own. Okay, try to integrate within the paragraph. Okay, who said this quote and why this quote has been stated, why this quote matters, why this quote is important to the ideas that you have brought up here in your paper. You need to clearly state that. That's the way you synthesize the idea. That's the way you integrate the ideas. That's the way you make it flow much better. Okay, so don't let the quote stand on its own. So when you write your next paper, make sure that you address all of these things that I've kind of I've explained this to you. So good luck with that, and if you have any questions, please always let me know. All right, thank you. Good luck. Bye bye.